Welcome back to Orange Hat Reviews, everyone. So, Rust Armorer Hannah Gutierrez Reed's attorneys speculate sabotage occurred on set in deadly Alec Baldwin shooting incident. So, the armorer of Rust set or offered a chilling theory through her attorneys about what led to the incident and led to the accidental shooting of Helena Hutchins. Sorry. Gutierrez Reed was one of the four people who handled the weapon prior to Alec Baldwin firing it while rehearsing a scene for the indie Western. As a result, Santa Fe County Sheriff Adan Mendoza said that the investigation is largely focused on her as well as how a live round made its way to the set of the film at all. Speaking to the Today Show Wednesday, Jason Bowles and Robert Gorence claimed that the bullets their client loaded into the gun on the day of the shooting were taken from a box that was only supposed to contain dummy rounds and were incapable of firing. However, because the ammunition was left unattended from roughly 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. that day, they believed the opportunity was there for a disgruntled crew member to mix a live round into the box. This is just more deflection of responsibility. This is just more of their trying to say, I don't have to be held responsible. It's not my fault. Guess what? You can easily check to see if a dummy round and a bullet are different. You want to know how? You lift a round and you shake it. If you hear the powder inside of it, guess what? It's a live round or a blank, because blanks also contain enough powder to jettison the small and safe tip of the blank that will not hit or harm anyone. It's only enough powder to expel it and create the pop sound of the weapon. We don't know, however, whether a live round came from that box. We were assuming it did, Bowles said. We're assuming somebody put that live round in the box, which, if you think about it, that person who put the live round in the box of dummy rounds had to have had a purpose to sabotage the set. There's no other reason you would do that. That you would mix that live round with the dummy rounds. Now, of course, if you really do think about it, they could easily make a argument that the disgruntled set workers, the union workers that walked off set because of the unsafe practices, they might throw that allegation out there, that one of them may have done this in order to show that the set was indeed unsafe. Not that they needed to. The attorneys stopped short of making any kind of legitimate allegation against anyone, calling the idea of intentional sabotage just one of many working theories that they are investigating. I believe that somebody who would do that would want to sabotage a set, would want to prove a point and say that they are disgruntled, they're unhappy, Bowles added. We know that people walked off the set that day or the day before and they were unhappy. And the reason they are unhappy is they're working 12 to 14 hour days. They were not giving hotel rooms and in and around the area, so they had to drive back and forth an hour to Albuquerque, and they're unhappy. They were also unhappy because of unsafe incidents happening on the set. People not abiding by the safety regulations set forth by Hollywood. These were union members that were walking off a set, folks. That's a red flag for any production. You know, a couple of facts. We know there was a live round in a box of dummy rounds that shouldn't have been there. At least one round, we have people who walked off set because they were disgruntled. We have a timeline of approximately 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. that day in which the firearms at the time were unattended. So there was opportunity to tamper with this scene, and yes, we're looking at that possibility. According to the search warrant executed by Santa Fe County Sheriff, the department, or Sheriff's Department, the firearm was taken to a secure safe inside the prop truck when the crew broke for lunch. However, the ammunition was left unattended. Well, isn't that kind of stupid? That's just more negligence on their behalf on the set, and there was also ammunition inside the prop truck. None of that ammunition was supposed to be live, though. As a result, Gutierrez Reed's attorney believes that if it's possible, or that it is possible, someone who had an issue with the production could have stepped in and intentionally sabotaged the set with live rounds. The discussion over disgruntled crew members is likely a reference to the fact that the morning of the shooting, several of the camera crew walked off the job after days of arguing with the production company over lodging accommodation and working hours. Los Angeles Times previously reported that Hutchins was involved in the disputes and did her best to resolve them before camera operators ultimately had had enough and collected their personal equipment in the morning of the shooting. On Tuesday evening, Baldwin shared a lengthy statement from Teresa Davis, who worked in the costume department, in which she claimed that allegations of poor working conditions on set were either untrue or exaggerated. Gutierrez Reed previously said in an affidavit that there should have been no live rounds on the set. In a statement previously provided by her to Fox News, Bowles and Gorence reiterated those claims. Safety is Hannah's number one priority on set, her attorney said in the statement. Ultimately, the set would never have been compromised if live ammo were not introduced. Hannah has no idea where the live where the live rounds came from. So if you ask me, this is a deflection tactic. This is basically a lawyer, which is their job, to deflect blame away from their client. And yes, they have to use some far-fetched theories. It is very far-fetched because here's the thing: those crew members walked off in the morning. 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. is late morning to afternoon. I'm willing to bet they got their stuff and walked off before that. But time will tell as more facts come out. I cannot say what is true and what is not. All I do know is that there was extreme negligence committed in this shooting. Alec Baldwin did not check the gun. Assistant Director Dave Halls did not check the gun. Gun Safety 101, treat every gun as if it's loaded. And also, when a gun is handed to you, whether you know the person or not, or trust the person or not, you check it. You do not allow it to be used until it is fully checked and thereby known whether it is safe to use. Anyway, folks, this whole situation it reeks of deflection. But like I said, that is a lawyer's prerogative to try to deflect blame from their client. It doesn't excuse the fact that she did not check the damn weapon properly. It also doesn't erase the fact that on previous accounts, on a previous job where she was head armorer, she unsafely loaded a weapon and gave it to an 11-year-old actress, which they had to stop the production for that. Yes, I will remind people of that, because if you want to know about a person, you look at their previous deeds. One of their previous deeds, in Hannah Gutierrez Reed's case, is she is known to have unsafely loaded weapons. She earned the ire of the actors and crew in her last job as head armorer. It is not outside of the realm of possibility that she could have indeed made the same mistake. We all know about David Halls as well. how he was fired from a previous job for unsafe weapon practices, saying that a gun was cold and yet it actually had live rounds in it. Folks, I think that this statement, that this theory is bullshit. But if it did happen, if it did actually happen, if that is the case, I will easily admit that I was wrong. But this story could go on for several months, and I will keep you updated as best as I can. Anyway, folks, that is going to be the video. You all know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe, share, all that jazz. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. What do you think of this story? Do you think that the theory could work, or do you think that it is simply just a deflection tactic? Let me know all your thoughts down in the comment section below, folks. This has been Orange Hat Reviews. Stay humble.